What's up, guys? Dan Klein here. First showing on the old video. Brad's taken the cake and introduced you and kind of went through the things to expect inside job killing. I first and foremost just want to say thank you. Thank you for trusting in us enough to guide you, lead you, take you through this process. It comes with a lot of work on our end, but it's going to come with a lot of work on your end. So hopefully you're ready for the ride. A couple things right off the bat that I want to touch on before I jump and start taking you through the foundation, start teaching you all the stuff that you're going to need to know to be successful in this business. I want you to go out and buy a book. Brad's mentioned a couple to you. This one could be an audio book. I think it's actually better in the audio format. I would go to Amazon, download the Audible app, and I want you to get Grant Cardone 10X, okay? Grant Cardone 10X. I want you to do that right away. I want you to be listening along to Grant Cardone's 10X book, the 10X rule, I believe it's called, is the full name. I want you to be listening to that. Even if you just spend 15, 20 minutes every morning, maybe that's you do a walk, you work out. I want you listening to Grant Cardone's 10X just from a mindset of a guy that's worth a ton of money. It's helped Brad, it's helped me, really changed our goals and the way that we approach this business. It's going to change the way you think about things. I think that you'll really appreciate the way that I come across a little bit more. Brad and I are 100% opposite personalities. I'm a little bit more in your face, pushing. I come from a sports background. I'm used to getting pushed. So please never take it personal. I'm only looking out for your best interests. I only want you guys to succeed. I only want you guys to go and get what you signed up for. And help you, push you through those tough times or those times where you hit friction. That's where I'm going to come along and get you, okay? And that's my job as your coach, okay? Now, for some of you guys, roll your eyes and you're not going to like me. That's cool. I'm not looking for friends. I'm looking to make you guys money, okay? In the meantime, though, many of our students we've come to become great friends with. So I'm really looking forward to getting to know more about you. If I talk to you on the phone, obviously we had that time. If I didn't, I'm sure we'll have more times in the future. Job killing is really like a way of life, like a different mindset. And so I just want you guys to get into this thing, get the entire full experience. As I said, Brad and I are different personality types. So some of you are going to like Brad more, less of you are going to like me more, and that's fine. I just want you guys to know we're here for you. Whatever you guys run into, we're going to do our very best to help you through that. We're in the Facebook group every day. Brad, not so much. Brad's usually working on content, so it can become a distraction for him. But I'm in there every day. We have other people helping in there every day. Be on the weekly phone calls. It's probably one of the things that I think a lot of people skip out on because it's Tuesdays and Thursdays and they can listen to the replay. But there's some powerful stuff on those calls. I really encourage you to listen to the replays of those calls over and over again if you have to, and so you can get the concepts down that we talk about. We do a lot of coaching, a lot of one-on-one, a lot of real specific things in those calls. So I think it's really important that you show up on those calls and you can get the most out of this experience. As we talked about on the initial phone call, whoever you spoke with, those calls are available for you as long as it takes. That's our motto. That's the way we want to approach this thing. As long as it takes to get you successful, we're going to be on those calls serving you, answering questions, and we're going to stay on them as long as necessary. It's the same thing with the private Facebook group. As long as it takes to get you successful. So be in there, be active, ask questions, okay? And be willing to reach out to us. Be willing to dip your hand into our experience. We've been doing this for a long time. We know how to train you through this process. We know it's going to be different speeds for different people. And that's why we didn't want to put any sort of time frame on when you had to get through the training or be on those phone calls. We want to just create a community that's all focused on the exact same business model and learn and grab data from all the different smart people that are inside job killing, absolutely crushing it. So first and foremost, welcome to the program. I'm super excited to meet you guys. I'm super excited to learn more about you guys as we become closer and closer friends in the future. I'm going to be there to push you as well, and hopefully you can thank me later when your bank account is much higher than it is currently. That is my goal, and that is what I intend to do with you guys. And we'll see you guys on the next video. We're going to open the foundation up, and I'm going to give you the grand kind of scheme scheme's not the right word, the grand layout, build a really strong foundation for you on how we approach this business model. My computer just went off. And I think you're going to really enjoy it. I've really cleaned it up since the previous versions that I've taught it. And so I'm going to clean up the fat. I'm not going to ramble too much. And I think you guys are going to love it. We'll see you on the next video.
What's up, guys? Dan Klein here. Hey, first of all, thanks for coming into Job Killing. Thanks for going through these videos. I know you're raring to get going, and I want to set you up for the best chance for success. I want to make sure that we know who you are, you know who we are. And so we're going to do that by getting you done, or getting you taking a personality test. This is a free personality test. Under this video, there's going to be a link right over to it. It's called 16 Personalities. And so what we've tried to do over the last year or so is look at the successful people in job killing, look at what they're doing, look at the type of personalities they are. Now, the cool thing is they range from all different personality types. I mean, we have from one spectrum to the other, but what all of them have in common is they're problem solvers, okay? So if they don't specifically fit with a certain skill set, they've learned to go out and find someone to help them with that skill set. Or if they don't specifically do something well because of their personality type, maybe they're introverted, maybe they're extroverted, maybe they're analytical, maybe they're non-analytical, whatever that might be, they've been able to find a solution, find someone else or find something else, or find a way to grow in that area of their life. And so I really believe in patterns. The more I've worked inside of job killing, the more I understand people better, and the better I can learn to train you guys. I know that we all fall into these certain personality patterns, okay? So it is so important that you know who you are and the things that you're strong at, the things that you're weak at. And so I want you to go spend about 12 minutes, okay? Because, without a strong foundation of where we want to go and what we're going to be building upon, we build rocky. Job killing is not just another internet SEO course or lead generation course or whatever. I mean, we want to work on you from the ground up. Okay. And we know that the reason there's so much darn success inside of job killing is because we've taken the time, and we hope you take the time as well to take this stuff as seriously as we do, to really understand, number one, who we are, where we lack skills, where we need to develop more skills, okay, where we're very skillful, okay, then we're able to go out there and acquire those skills and those resources to help us in this journey of ultimately creating a business, okay? Now, at the end of the day, business is about sales and leads. That's what it takes for a business to grow and thrive. But throughout that journey, we have to find those little aspects of our lives that we continue to pattern into. And we just continue going down those little rabbit holes, and it keeps screwing us up. So I'm going to show you right off the bat who I am. This is my personality. I'm a ENTP personality. You can go ahead and read it if you like, but you can kind of get an idea of who I am. And then I'll break down for you. They sent me the email, and they're going to send you the email as well. Kind of what the debater looks like. So extroverted, intuitive thinking, blah, 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 blah. So you can kind of see the type of person I am, and you can also kind of see the type of person you are going to be as you go through this personality test. Now, when you are done with the personality test, you're going to get taken to a button, and I believe it's right here, submit your results. I want you to click on that button and just fill out this information. You're going to mark a little bit about which one you were. We don't need the specifics because they're going to fit into certain category types. Who you are. I want to know your current occupation. I want to see if there's patterns in certain occupations, and I'll be able to do that over time. And then I'll be able to identify areas that some people might be really good at and areas maybe other people may fail at, so I can better train you guys as I move through this training and helping you guys build this business. Are you analytical? Are you non-analytical? That's kind of a question for me and Brad. We like to know so that's how we work with you. And then your current financial situation. I think this is a big issue for a lot of people is they limp into business. But it's not a huge issue if we know about it up front, because there's lots of different things you can do to make sure that you have financing or you have money or you find solutions so you're not freaking out. So we got I need to go fast, so everything's peachy. So is like, yeah, you got to make money, but maybe I have a job and I have enough coming in, and then everything's peachy is, money's not an issue, but you want to get to the next level. Computer skills, I'm a boss. I can find my way around and I suck at computer stuff. Whatever you are, this would be a 10 out of 10. This would be a 5. This would be a 1. Same thing over here. Okay. And your sales skills, important thing for us to know. As I said, business is all about sales and leads. You got to be able to do both of them. If you're not a great salesman, we'll find you someone in the group that is, and they'll be able to help you along the way and partner up. Okay. If you're a great salesman and we find someone else in the group that needs help, then we'll partner up. Maybe you're really bad at the computer stuff. So that's the reason we ask these questions. Go ahead and submit that stuff. And then when you're done, you're just going to move on right to the next video, but it's going to help Brad and I understand who you are a little bit better, how we can help you in this entire journey, what struggles you may be faced with, and that's just ultimately going to help us coach you and mentor you better. So that is that. I don't want to beat a dead horse here. Take the personality test, submit your results, and then we'll be on to the next video, and we're going to get closer to getting your first lead generation property going. I'm super pumped for you guys. We'll see you on the next video. Later. All right, guys, Dan Klein here. I want to go over the 5 core concepts. These are important things that we touch on right in the beginning of your journey through job killing. These are foundational concepts. These are things that we need to talk about. And so I want to nail them out really quickly with you guys. The first and foremost is niching, okay? I need you guys to understand what is a good niche. Now, in job killing, what I want you to understand is we're trying to teach you in its whole, this entire skill set. The cool thing about this skill set is you can take it in a lot of different directions. But as your teacher, as your coach, as someone who has taught hundreds of people to be successful at exactly what I'm about to teach you, I need you to start in a specific type of niche, okay? I need you to start in a phone-driven type of business. So what does that mean? That means, no, it's not a dental office. No, it's not a retail location. No, it's not a restaurant, okay? The reason that I don't want you to start there and is simply because I understand right in the very beginning, I got to be able to teach you the skill set. And then as you got the skill set under your belt and as you understand this, I'll show you how you apply it to places like a dental office or a doctor's office or a restaurant or a retail location. Those give a couple extra wrinkles in the strategy. And so that is why I want to stay away from them in the startup. Now, with that being said, the skill set is going to work for you for all of those different industries, okay? But right off the bat, you need to get your head wrapped around a phone-driven business. So let's talk about what are phone-driven businesses. Right off the bat, one of the phone-driven businesses, limousine. We've taught that for the last year or so, okay? I'm probably not going to make you go into a limousine like I did in the past because there's tons of other good ones, and I feel like we've played that niche out. But it's phone-driven. You don't show up to a limo location to get a limo. You call it. It's phone-driven. What else? A carpet cleaner. That's a phone-driven type of business. A house cleaner is a phone-driven type of business. A roofer is a phone-driven type of business, right? Cell phone repair. Sometimes it's not phone driven, but a lot of times they do come to you. Mobile, anything mobile where they're going to come to you, that's a phone driven type of business. What we're trying to do is make sure when you get into these first niches, and trust me, I'm going to give you a massive niche list that you're going to be able to use to jog your memory so you're not out there on an island by yourself. But it's important that our first niche, when we're understanding how to do niching, is that we're choosing a phone driven business and not a brick and mortar location. We will get into the brick and mortar location type businesses later on in the training after we've went through the whole entire 5 weeks, and we'll teach you how you're going to utilize this skill set to work within those, okay? So first and foremost of the core concepts, I need you to find a phone-driven business as your first niche. Highly important. Number 2, the due diligence process. Guys, I need you to go into a market the size no greater than 350,000 people on your first niche, and as low as 50,000 people. I'm giving you those guidelines so that you guys have some good due diligence, good population sizes to kind of focus in on. The second thing I want you to do anytime you're doing due diligence is I want you to understand that you need to treat this as if you're dropping $100,000 into this industry. So let's just say you were going to choose the carpet cleaning niche and now you wanted to start doing your due diligence. The first thing you would do is you check out the population size. How do you do that? Go on Google, type in the population of the city. I love suburbs. I love suburbs around big cities. They work great, okay? But the bottom line is type into Google what the population size is. It's going to spit it out. If it's between 50 to 350, okay, we're moving in the right direction. Well, the second thing we need to do is we're going to treat this like it's our own business. So what are we going to do? We're going to call some of the businesses. In fact, we're going to call as many of them as we can as a consumer. So if we're going into the carpet cleaning niche, as an example, I would call up every carpet cleaning company in town. I would have a notepad in front of me. Okay. And I would just act like a consumer. Hey, yeah, I'm just curious. How much is it for 3 rooms in a hallway? How much is it for 4 rooms in a hallway? Whatever it is you want to get, and get some basic pricing from them. Okay. You're going to figure out really quick which companies treat you really, really, really well, which may be a possible prospect for you in the future, and which companies don't treat you well at all. Okay, this is going to be huge. What I also want you looking for when you're doing the due diligence part of this process, I want you looking for how many businesses are in that location. Example, if you go into a market of 50, 100,000, 200,000 and you only see 2 carpet cleaning businesses, it's a little bit of a red flag. It means that there's not a lot of competition. So that could, for some people, that might be a good thing, but on the other side, it may mean that the market doesn't bear many more carpet cleaning companies than that, and that the 2 guys that are running, or 2 gals that are running whatever this industry is, this carpet cleaning industry in that town, they're busier than they can be, and they're not going to take leads for anyone because they're already tapped out. So it's an important part of the due diligence process. Okay, go through multiple pages of Google. Go on other search engines and look it up. Don't just stay on Google. Go on Google, go on Yahoo. Treat this like you're investing. You're about to start this or buy a type of business just like this. Learn everything you can about the different things that they do. So just research them a little bit. Don't just jump in blind because we're going to teach you how to generate leads. You need to be smart about this stuff. And we'll get into that a little bit deeper in later videos, and I'll actually show you live screencasts of what I look for. But make sure that you call around and you start treating this like it's your own business. You start looking at what the people in the marketplace are doing, and you don't just blindly jump in. No smart business owner would just blindly jump in. Look at Starbucks, look at McDonald's. These companies do massive, massive amounts of due diligence before jumping into a market. They do drive-by traffic, socioeconomics. They do so much stuff before just jumping in. So why don't we? Well, on the internet, because it's so inexpensive to get something up, and when I show you how we do it, it's so quick that you can easily lull yourself into this lazy mentality and just jump into a market because you know what to do. But as I can tell you, and the reason why the students that are the most successful in our program, they tell you the exact same thing. They've learned to, before just jumping, to do massive amounts of due diligence. Make sure the population's small in size or decent in size, like I was telling you. It's going to make things go a lot faster. Make sure that the market's not tapped out with only a few people, so they're not going to be willing to take your leads. Make sure that you've called around and you have ideas on pricing, so you know who's the best and the worst place. Because if you send your leads to the most expensive in town, they won't convert well. If you send them to the least, maybe they don't get treated well. So those are the important things to do in due diligence. The bottom line is find as much information about that industry in that market as you can and become an expert on it. It will help you as you start learning the actual techniques we're going to teach you. Now, obviously, once you've picked your market, and once you've done your due diligence and you've identified that this is a great niche in a great market, you're going to have to do and understand lead generation. Now, we're going to teach you that starting in weeks 1 through 5. We're going to teach you all the different spokes on that wheel. But that is a core concept of what you're going to learn here in job killing. I'm not going to dig too deep into that in this video. I want to keep this short and punchy. But lead generation, although most of you signed up for this to learn just lead generation, the 2 concepts I just put in front of you right before that are just as important as the lead gen processes the processes you're going to learn in the training. So please do not shortcut finding the right market and finding the right niche, okay, and doing your due diligence and treating it like it was your business. Next concept, okay, prospecting. Now, guys, no matter what, no matter if you find the best market and you know how to do the best niche, you found the best niche, and you've learned and you're actually generating leads. If you don't understand, you don't learn how to prospect with tons of different approaches, and you're not willing to put yourself out there over and over and over again, you will not succeed in this business. Now, for some of you, that's very uncomfortable. That's uncharted waters. I don't want to do that. It's uncomfortable and stuff like that. And you know what? That's cool. If you don't like something in this process and you find something you don't enjoy, you need to find someone else in the group that's willing to do it for you. And if you need help with that, I'm happy to meet you or match you up with someone. But prospecting, the people that prospect the most make the most money always. Okay? You could have the greatest product in the world. We see this all the time. But if you don't have people buying it, it's worthless. Right? So for all the people that learn lead generation and how to do the right niche in the right market, those that don't know how to go out there and prospect to get the clients to spend the money with them, they'll fall flat on their face, and I don't want that to happen to you. So prospecting is a core concept of this business model. And last but not least, monetization. It's a fancy word for sales or how to sell something or how to turn something that you have, a product, into money. I'm going to teach you some core key examples of how we're going to go into businesses, and we're not going to be a one-trick pony. I don't want you to just think that you just have to sell leads because, to be honest with you, that's not the only best way to do these. You can charge flat fees. You can do a pay per lead or a pay per call model. You can take a commission off of every customer that you send these businesses. You can do a hybrid, a multitude of approach where you're getting, a small fee plus a per lead or a small fee plus a commission. You can go that approach, okay? And you can also go the approach of you taking in all of the leads yourself to your own phone and you just being a general contractor and you finding the people in that market that are willing to work with you and you just outsource the work to them. A little bit more labor intensive on that one, but no matter what, if you've found the right market and you're in the right niche and you're generating leads, okay, and you've done all your prospecting, there is ways to work with businesses. And so these are the 5 core concepts that you need to know as we build this foundation for you. I want you to make sure that you go back through and you write down those core things. 50 to 350,000 population as a starting point. Phone-driven businesses as a starting point. Due diligence as a starting point, okay? The rest is going to come clear in future videos. I'm going to dig a little bit deeper into monetization and prospecting, obviously, and then the lead gen stuff is going to be the core, the meat and potatoes of this entire program. These are key things. I need you to make sure you know them, you write them down. I'll see you in the next video. What's going on, guys? Dan Klein here. I want to talk about niche ideas and kind of go off the old sheet that we had, and probably will look a little bit different when you get your hands on it. It's available in the Facebook for download in the files section. But I want to just kind of talk about them a little bit more. I talked about it briefly in the core concept video, and I want to start kind of jogging your memory and also giving you some other ideas of places to find your niche. As you guys know, or many of you guys know, for the last year we've trained the limousine niche, okay? And what's happened in that niche is we've trained so many people and we've focused them so hard just into that niche that now if you're in a market and someone already did a limo niche, people are kind of like, well, what do I go in next? The reason we trained the limo niche, to be completely honest with you, had nothing to do with that it was like the greatest niche in the world. In fact, it's probably not even the best niche. In fact, many people don't like it because the owners of limo companies are very difficult to work with. But we've had a lot of success in it as well. So what I want to show you and what I want to start kind of going through with you guys today is different niches that you guys can do for your first niche in job killing. I don't want you to be stifled if someone already did the limousine niche in your market, okay? Now, another good niche in that same kind of area, I actually think it might even be better, is party bus rental. So that's just a little, you'll see it right there. There's a ton of leads, and party buses are getting a lot more used in this day and age than limousines. So if there's a party bus, there's a couple party bus rental companies in your area, that might be a really good niche. Again, most every one of the niches in here are phone-driven businesses. That's what I want for your first business. Another niche I like right now is a cell phone repair business. Every market's different. Make sure you do your due diligence. We're going to talk about that more in the next video. But Other stuff. Wedding photographer is a great niche. I've done a lot of work in that niche before. It is symbiotic. If you're already doing the limo stuff, you probably can get a wedding photographer. Wedding DJ, I've also done a lot of work in this, and this is a great market. This is a great niche. And there's a lot of wedding DJs. People are always getting married. This is a total evergreen business. Wedding planner is not going to have as many searches. And it's not going to have as many leads because not as many people hire wedding planners, but still not a bad niche. If you wanted to go after like the trifecta of weddings, you could hit all those, as well as you could hit your limo and party bus rental and that type of thing. So just kind of thinking outside the box here, photo booth rental is also an interesting niche. It's a phone-driven business. You don't go to a photo booth rental store and rent a photo booth. So hopefully you guys can kind of see what I'm going with here. Now, again, the stuff that I'm giving you guys, by no means is it the only niches you can go into. The thing that I did like about the limousine niche is that it's such a high volume of phone calls. There's a ton of people inquiring on prices for the limousine niche, okay? The downfalls of both the taxi and the limousine, party bus not so much, I don't believe, is they're state regulated. So every state, and this is something I want you guys to really think about before going into anything. So take all the knowledge of what we train you and make sure that you look up the rules of your specific city or state, and just don't go into a market where there's strict rules. So for instance, in Eugene, I have a taxi business, and there's actually some state rules that I had to do some things. Now, again, there's always ways to navigate, okay, but it can be a major pain in your behind if there's something state regulated and you got the state breathing down your neck. So just do your research, do your due diligence as if you were starting a business that, especially in these state regulated ones. So what else would be state regulated? Other things that would be state regulated are going to be like fence building companies. I know it was in Oregon, because you had to be a contractor, so you had to have a contractor's license. Hey, again, doesn't mean you can't go into it, doesn't mean you can't make money from it, just means that you need to go about it and make sure that you don't have to have any verbiage on your site that we're going to show you how to build. And again, I wish I could give you blanket information, and the nice thing is no one has gotten in trouble that I know of. We've seen a couple people get letters here and there that says, oh, you got to have this number on your site and that type of thing, but just do your due diligence and make sure that you're using the strategies and the training of how to build this thing out. When you pick your niche, make sure you just do a little extra checking around. Make sure, again, the main stuff, state regulated, transportation, and construction, because people can get royally screwed in construction, so the state has their hand in it. But electrician would probably be state regulated. You got to have a number. Plumber as well. Roofer possibly. But is a pressure washing company? No. Is a makeup artist? No. A venue broker? No. An ice sculpture designer? I've never been in that niche, but it seemed kind of interesting to me. No. Commercial window tint in Oregon actually was state regulated. Believe it or not, we had to go get, I actually owned a commercial window tint business. We actually had to go get a contractor's license in order to advertise online. Okay. So just, I really like the golf cart rental niche, or the golf cart niche in general. I haven't done too much in it, but I've been doing a lot of research in it lately. So check out golf cart rental or repair. Again, that's not a place you'd normally go. So even though it is kind of a brick and mortar in a sense, you're going to look that up online. Probably later on, maybe a third or fourth niche. Not going to be tons of traffic, but kind of an interesting niche. I like it. Low hanging fruit. Okay, so house cleaner, that's a nice little niche. Carpet cleaner. These are all, again, phone-driven businesses. Mobile auto detailing, good. Mobile window tinting, if there's one in your market, there's probably not going to be a whole bunch of mobile window tinters, but if there is, they may be hungry, and many of those people are not computer savvy, so the more leads, the better. Let me move on. Okay, so this is just giving you some ideas. Do not get too hung up on these things, but just know there's a lot of different niches. Just go into them with your head above water so you understand, okay? You understand interior design. I like that one, by the way. Home staging, not as many leads, but decent. I've been in that niche. Tree care, a lot of people have done great with that. Lots of great niches, guys. The Facebook group is loaded with examples. If you search for some of these things, you can find some example sites. I'll get into example sites in the tutorial videos. A couple other places I want to point out to you that is really good for niche ideas. First one, Thumbtack. Okay, Thumbtack is a great place. You could come here and you can get tons. This is actually a place that sells leads, okay? But Thumbtack, you can come here and you can actually get leads for all different types of companies. Let me find exactly where they list all their services. They just changed. It was on their homepage. Let's see here. Let's go home. I like home improvement stuff. Just a great niche list here. And guess what, guys? Every one of the people in these niches, if you were to request a quote in your marketplace, we're going to get into more of this in the prospecting stuff. You'll get like 5 or 6 different quotes from people that are buying the leads from Thumbtack, aka if they're buying leads from Thumbtack, they'll buy exclusive leads from you. But ways for you to come through and look up all these different types of niches. It's endless. There's endless types of industries. Now, again, use common sense. Don't just go into any and every industry because it's on Thumbtack. Look at the things, do some due diligence, and I'll get into the due diligence a little bit more. We're going to do some live me looking at Google doing due diligence stuff. But I mean, local moving, junk removal. This is a huge business right now. I just watched about how the guy that started Junk Be Gone, he's a multi-bazillionaire, and it's just a huge thriving business. There's pool table moving. There's been some great pool table moving sites been done and piano moving sites done on Job Killing. But just go through this stuff. Look at all these different niche ideas. Okay, phone-driven businesses. Okay, you can go back. We can go to lessons. Haven't done as much. I have not done much in the lessons and whatnot business, but definitely worth a look. Okay, to look and see if there's anything, private instructions, and that type of thing. But just look through this. I mean, these guys are. This is a company Google just invested in. This is $1 billion company here. They've done their due diligence. They know that these are good niches that people are looking for stuff. Otherwise, they wouldn't be on their sites. Okay, moving along. Another good resource, Home Advisor. Same type of thing as Thumbtack, but just tons and tons of different ideas for niches, okay? Tons and tons and tons. So you should never run out of ideas for what niche you're going to go into next, okay? You can view all categories. This is the way of Thumbtack, but look at this. Lots and lots of ideas. I'm not going to overwhelm you. I'm going to give you some to pick from, so don't worry. And then we're going to give you how you're going to build them out, so don't get overcomplicated on what to pick. But I just want you to see the resources for coming up with great niches. With that being said, guys, there's probably tons of other. I know there's another company called Porch.com. This is a newer one. But same type of thing. Gives you ideas and then matches you with people in that marketplace that do these ideas. Cool, but just another memory jogger of niche ideas. It's endless, guys. This is endless. You literally should never, ever, ever, ever run out of niches. There's just through these 3 companies and the little niche list I gave you, it's endless. Okay, so I just wanted to show you those things so you had some resources in your back pocket to do some kind of searching through, start jogging your memory, start getting some ideas. On the next video, we're going to jump into the next part of the 5 core concepts in due diligence and kind of move you through there. Build this foundation nice and strong so when we get into building time, you understand exactly what you're doing and why you're doing it, and we're not just shooting blind.
Let's talk getting keywords for a new lead gen site. I want to show you how to not overthink this and just get it done. I take out a text pad, Google, clear everything out, and the first thing I say is common sense. What would I search for? And I might ask my wife or who's ever around, what would you search for in this niche? So let's say it's tow truck. I would probably search for tow truck. I would probably search for tow truck service. That's really all that comes to mind, okay? Let's not force it. I mean, if nothing comes to mind, nothing comes to mind. So then I would take those and I would see what Google says. Tow truck Okay, and I would use this Google Instant feature to help guide me, because they're not going to suggest anything here that's not being searched for. So this is very good evidence of what you need to be optimizing your lead gen site for. Now, I do not use any keyword tools. I don't use Google's data. I don't use Longtail Pro. I don't use anything. This is my exact process. Tow truck service, tow truck near me, tow truck Phoenix. I mean, wow, talk about if success leaves clues. This is like the entire puzzle being solved for us. Tow truck near me, tow truck Phoenix. Okay, let's see what else. Tow truck space for sale. That's not relevant. Obviously, you got to use a little bit of common sense. Tow truck. Another thing you can do is just start putting in letters of the alphabet. Start with A. Accessories, accident, app, auction. Nothing really comes to mind there. B. Business, bed. Business, possibly. C. Company near me. Cost. D. Obviously, our goal with the site is to get leads for people who want to call up a tow truck and use it because they're broke down. So we kind of ignore everything else. Driver, jobs, nope. Estimate. Okay, so I would do this and so on and so forth. The other keyword that I thought, tow truck service, Phoenix, services near me. Okay, so screw what Google tells us, what keyword research tools tell us. This is the real stuff right here. Service prices. Okay, now I would do a search for one of these, and then I would also scroll to the bottom of Google, and I would look at these related. So tow truck services prices, tow truck service costs, AAA towing. You know, if they're searching for competitors, that's traffic we can ethically steal. Tow truck service, so they're looking for the cities around me. That's obvious, and that's the basics. You know, you could go to Yahoo and Bing and repeat that process. You could run an AdWords coupon and let it run for a week, and then sign into AdWords and see which keywords brought up the most impressions. That's also how I dig up more keywords. And then finally, what I would do is I would go tow truck, and you know, you can dig a little bit more by city. Phoenix towing service, all city towing, remarkable. These are all keywords I would scoop up and include on my site, all of them. Okay, I would optimize some pages for competitors, get the different word towing, and then the other thing I would do is I would just start opening up the top couple sites, and I would go in and tow truck. I would pull up some other big cities. That's Yelp. Who are doing well, ranking in big cities. Tow truck service. Los Angeles. Yeah, screw Yelp. Go to real sites. Okay, and I would look on here, and I would look in their title tags. So if you hover over this, towing company in, look at this one, 24-hour towing. Ooh, that's a good one. 24-hour towing. I would just hover over their title tags and see what they're optimized for. Towing in, make sure we got that. Towing in Phoenix, etc. Meaning all the cities. 24-hour emergency towing, that one's slightly off the screen. Emergency towing. What's this Los Angeles one? Towing and roadside assistance. Okay, and this is so easy. This is just a couple minutes off the top of my head. And then obviously I'd want to get in all the different cities that I wanted to optimize for. Maybe I would start small with one in Chandler and just optimize the crap out of it for Chandler, Arizona. Or maybe I'd make one for Phoenix and then have individual pages on the site for Chandler, Mesa, Gilbert, all the suburbs. However you want to attack it is fine. If you want an easy win, just start with the suburb and make the whole site about that suburb. If you want a longer term project where you're willing to work a little bit harder, but maybe with a higher ceiling on income potential, then go for Phoenix and put pages on there for all the different suburbs. But this is how easy. I mean, if we did nothing more than this, 2 minutes of common sense, Google, and top competitors, and just compiled that data, and this might really just be a really great homepage, or maybe a homepage for most all of these, and then a separate page for the 24-hour terms, and then an about page, a service page, a contact page, and maybe like a privacy policy. That could be a great money maker right there. And this is the extent of my keyword research. I would figure out a good title tag that gets tow truck and towing in it. And obviously I'd get Phoenix and Arizona in there, or whatever city I was going for. And then I would make a really long homepage. I would work in different variations of these. I would write naturally, but I'd make sure and get near me, service, price, cost, estimate. I would get all those words in there. And then I'd probably make a separate page for 24-hour and optimize for all the different 24-hour terms. You could possibly make a separate page for roadside assistance. And then maybe another page eventually for the competitors that were coming up, AAA towing and stuff like that. But at the very least, you could start with the homepage, an about, a contact, a privacy policy, get it going, get the SEO going, go to week 5, get your first influence link pointed, and then come back and add some of the other terms. But that's it. You get the main keywords, you get these in the title tag, front and center. Put them first. That's the most important. Mention tow truck, service near me in the first paragraph. And I mean, that's 90% of it right there. Essentialism, disciplined pursuit of less but better. Do not overcomplicate this. Do not think that you need all these tools and all this different data. Use common sense. Use Google. Use competitors. Are there players in that area? Yes, there's dozens of tow truck companies. Obviously, there's money to be made. That's the extent of my keyword research. You get such a feel for this. This is all it takes. 5 solid minutes and a little bit of note taking, and you're good to go. Okay, the rest of it you're going to learn by getting out there, putting up sites, and putting in the reps. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.
What's going on, guys? Dan Klein here. I want to talk about the due diligence process. So at this point, let's just say that you've picked a niche. Okay, so let's say you've dug through it, or you take one of our recommendations and you just said, this is the niche I want to get into, whatever it might have been. Okay. And the first thing, what I told you in the 5 core concepts video was, I want you to pick a location with a population of 50 to 350,000. Okay. 50 being the absolute lowest, 350 being the highest. Okay. So how do we do that? First and foremost, population. Just going to show you Eugene, Oregon. Okay, so I got 159,000 in Eugene, Oregon. Okay, if you're in Dallas, Texas, population. Okay, same thing. You're gonna get a population map. Okay, now many times what comes up with a lot of people is they say, I live in a county. Okay, and maybe you're in a part of the East Coast or whatnot, or in a different country, and you say, I live in XYZ county. So for instance, like I used to live in Lane County, okay, which is about 356,000. Now, here's the problem with counties, just so you guys know. If you're going to be in a county, you're going to have to take a little bit different approach. If you have like all these little cities, now luckily Eugene was the main part of that county, but if you're going to be in a county and it's made up of all these little small populations, I would rather you not go into that county. I think it's going to be more work, but you definitely can. You're just going to have to position more locations, and I'll teach this in the training in week 1, but try to focus in on a city if you can, that has a population between 50,000 to 350. People really don't search by county. People don't type in, taxi Lane County, right? That's not going to be a big search. Okay. They would be, taxi Eugene. It would be what they would go after. Okay. So what I want you guys to understand is that it's important for you guys to not just skip this part. So do your due diligence on your population. The second thing, let's just say you don't know where to go, okay? And I don't want you, by the way, please, please, please do not pick a location super far away from you if you can help it. It adds an extra wrinkle in your steps, and it's not that you can't do it. It's just that on this first one, I'd like you to do it close to home if possible, just so we don't have to add the extra wrinkle in and it causes you more steps and slows you down. I've seen people, because I didn't probably train it good enough right off the bat, they got in and they went 5 states over. And as we're locating an address for you to get some of our verification stuff in the local map listings that we're going to train you how to do, getting an address, it becomes a little bit more complicated. So please stick close to home if you can, at least in a close enough radius. There's got to be a place close enough by, and if you absolutely can't, you definitely can go farther away, but if you could, please try to stick close by. Look at the suburbs nearby that are there, and then worst case scenario, you go out a little bit farther. But you can also see close by populations in other bigger areas around. Wikipedia does this and Google pulls this information. So just take a look at that. Do your due diligence there. Second, let's just say we're going to go into let's just look at suburbs of Dallas. Okay, so we got let's see, suburbs of Dallas population. So we had Dallas, Fort Worth. Let's just see here. Let's do Denton population. So Denton, Texas, population 123,000. So there's a kind of a suburb of Dallas that we just pulled up. So that'd be a good area. So let's just say that we wanted to go into a niche and we picked photo booth rental. So right off the bat, I don't get a huge big map, right? I get kind of just one location. So what this is kind of telling me right off the bat, there's probably not a whole bunch of photo booth rentals going along. Now I can click over to maps and kind of look through that as well. Okay. But to me, this tells me a couple different things. Either there's not a ton of business for this around that marketplace, or there's very few companies actually servicing this. So what you want to do at this point is you want to kind of click into some of these other sites. Like I can see there's Thumbtack, that site I told you about before. So they're kind of advertising for it. So we could definitely click in there. We can look at who's up here in AdWords, because then we know people are actually paying for that. So we got Thumbtack, we got AdWords, or excuse me, we got this place. So you want to kind of just look through and see if there's enough competition, that there's enough of a marketplace for it in that market. Now, it could very well be, and you're going to have to do, like I said, your due diligence, go multiple pages deep, that there's just not a lot of physically located photo booths that have actually positioned in that marketplace, because there is only one map location. Okay, so let's look here. And this happens to be a job killer. I know who this is. So he's positioned and kind of taken out that market, so we can follow up with him on that maybe in a future video. But it's important that you do your due diligence and look at and go through multiple pages. Be okay with pulling up Yahoo and Bing and doing the same thing. So we'll go over to Yahoo. And we'll go through photo booth rental Denton. All right, so let's look here. So we got a couple more on Yahoo. Yahoo's goofy though. But we're also pulling maybe some more of the local stuff. Yahoo does do a good job at like actually getting the local sites up there, and not so much of the Thumbtacks and the Yelps. So kind of interesting to look at this stuff. Denton photo booth rental. There is quite a few more. Let's look at this one. Oh, that's the same one we were just on, isn't it? Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through these things and I'm gonna contact these people. I'm gonna call them up and just get a quote, kind of see what they're all about, see how they're pricing, see what types of things, how busy they are, how booked they are. I'm gonna find out if I'm gonna go into this niche. I'm gonna do some due diligence, okay? And then maybe I'll go over to Bing and just check out Bing. Okay. Not as much. Thumbtack got some Bing results. Dallas though, not as many. Not as many. Denton photo booth rental.org. And we got a .org. Same. This is a job killer. Facebook. Okay. So not a ton, but again, go a couple pages deep too. You might be seeing some people coming up the ranks too, so you want to make sure you're on top of this stuff. The bottom line, guys, is you need to look out and you need to go through Yahoo and Bing and see what the scape of the market is. If you were going to go jump into that market blind and buy a bunch of photo booths, would you do it? Okay, so please do your due diligence. Look through all the different search engines. Another place, if you get into like the bigger niches. Now this is the bigger niches, like let's say we're going into carpet cleaning or limousine or something like that, where photo booth's pretty small. Let's see here. I'm on a site called Sales Genie, and Sales Genie actually will get you. They'll give you a 3-day pass. You don't need to buy anything here. What's it doing here? Your account already exists. Oops. So you can get a free 3-day pass here. Let me pause this and see if I can get in here. Hold on. All right, cool. So I just used a different email. So this is why I don't generally pay for accounts on Sales Genie. I can always find a new email or create one instead of paying the fees for it. But that's up to you. I like keeping lean and don't necessarily need to pay for a new account each time. I want to kind of do some due diligence and pull some stuff. But it is a pretty cool tool. I'm going to show you how to use it a little bit so you can look up businesses and you can learn a little bit more about them instead of just using Google, because sometimes Google doesn't have very many businesses listed, or it's hard to find them because they get buried by the Thumbtacks and the Yelps of the world. So hang tight while it creates my profile. I'm not going to keep you waiting. All right, so obviously it's going to try to upsell me into some sort of deal. I'm not going to do. I'm going to continue with the trial. So if I wanted to, again, this is Canadian. It might not have everyone in the world, so you might have someone similar to this, but they do have quite a number. But I would go to, like, let's say if I wanted to go, if I want to build a list of U.S. businesses, okay, I can actually come in here and kind of start. I can first look by line of business. So, like, let's say I was going to go into electrician as an example. So electric contractors. Yep, that's what I want. Oops. Yep, that's what I want. So I would do that, and then I could do. Let's see here. I want to do that. Search primary. Yep. Keyword line of businesses. I haven't done this in a while. I used to do this all the time, but again, just a good. We don't even need that. So let's just run our search off the one we have, and then let's drill down and just see kind of how many businesses it gives us. These are great for leads for you guys, as far as businesses that you can do your due diligence on, call on, as far as, hey, just curious on like what you cost, that type of thing. Now, of course, it's done it by all the states. So we like literally pulled all these leads. It's going to start with Alaska. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to get the geography right. So let's just do, we're going to select a state. We'll just stay with our example before, and we'll go to, we'll just go back to Denton. There she is. All right. We're going to run the search. And give it a second here. All right, so right now we've got all these different companies that have been, are showing up, different electricians. Now these are all registered in Denton. Look at all these. Now let's go over to Google real quick. Not Bing. again, I'm just pulling examples for you. Electrician, Denton, Texas. So you and I look at Google and we got this 3-pack, and then we can hit more electricians and we can see these different ones that are listed here. Okay. So it's just a good way, and these are probably getting even way outside Denton now. It's just a good way to double check and get, excuse me, where'd it go? I lost my sales genie. Just a good way to see what's out there. Name of the owners, executive's name. This is all pulled, president, CEO, owner. Good way. Phone number, and you can even get, these are verified. Check this out over here, just their actual address, their sales volume, so you know what kind of company they are. That's not always going to be completely accurate, but a lot of that stuff does come from the state. You can pull in this stuff. So, I mean, Sales Genie's no joke. It's a valuable service. I believe you can pay for an account and do unlimited searches. You just can't export them. I'd have to look up. Here's their business expenditures. I mean, kind of cool to see what they're spending. Again, I wouldn't base all of your info on this, but cool to pair that up when you're doing your due diligence. Nearby businesses, competitors report, kind of gives you some ideas on that, who their competitors are. Just, guys, some really cool stuff you can look up in Sales Genie. So, feel free to go get a free thing, a free account, and mess around with it. You don't have to don't geek out on it. Use the free version for a while and use it for your first niche while you're researching them. Do your due diligence. So these are some of the main things that I want you to look at when doing the due diligence. I may put another video about due diligence below this at a later date, but for now, I think if you just know the basics of looking at your industry, looking at your population, calling around and talking to different businesses, looking up a little bit about them and what the area looks like, I think you're going to do a whole lot better than just jumping in blindly. Now, there's been a couple times, doesn't happen often, but there has been a couple times that two job killers, believe it or not, have went into the same market in the same niche. And what I tell you is this, let's say if two people went into the electricians market in Denton, Texas, what would happen? Well, the bottom line is if one job killer was working with one electrician, there's all these other electricians that they can work with as well. And all these people are still doing electrical work, even though another job killer's in the market. So if you want to team up with that other job killer, feel free. If you want to just move on to the next business, feel free. There's so many different types of industries, but if you do proper due diligence and you sift through the first several pages of Google, you can figure it out really, really quickly. Who's the players in the market? But don't let it bog you down. Don't let it bother you. There's going to be competition, but there's literally, as I showed you, endless niches to go into. So don't get your panties in a bunch if you see another job killer or you see some competition for yourself. Welcome to this world. Plenty of stuff, and all the reason why not to jump into a niche blindly without doing a little bit of due diligence, looking stuff up, looking at the different companies, finding a little bit about them, and then calling on them. Sales volumes, pretty cool stuff you can find here. Owner, Billy Johnson. Cool stuff, guys. I will see you guys on the next video. What's going on, guys? Dan Klein here. We are in the first several videos, obviously, of Job Killing 2.0. And in the last several videos, we've talked about the 5 core concepts and what they are, and niching and due diligence, and now we're on to the lead generation. So I want to give you kind of your foundation for what lead generation really looks like and show you some examples. Main things we're going to touch on in this video is websites, the directories, social profiles, and paid traffic, and how these things all play into the traffic and the leads that we're going to teach you how to build, how you can identify these things for any company that you're going to go work with. And if you look at these kind of core things, and as long as these core concepts are taken care of, lead generation will follow. So let's start with websites. I'm going to pull up Google really quickly, and I'm going to show you a couple of things. I'm going to do I'm going to pull up a window tinting Eugene as a search. And so I want to show you a couple different things. Number one, this is what we would call a directory. So I'm going to get into that a little bit later on. I'm going to move down farther and I want to talk about websites. Obviously, all of us understand that owning a website in this day and age is going to be important. So part of the process of job killing is we're going to show you how to put up really simple and easy websites. You know, the more property you can dominate on page one of the search engines, not just Google either, all of them, the better you're going to do. And many times the barrier to entry is really like, I can't get up a website, I don't know how to. We're going to teach you how to do that so simply using a service called Weebly. So this is a website. This is a website built by Weebly. This right here, this was a company that I initially did lead generation for, ended up buying it, and then ended up selling it back to them. This is a Weebly website, believe it or not. All of my sites are done in Weebly. It's just the way that I like it. It's fast, it's easy, it's super clean, and it's so easy that anyone could basically follow suit. Okay, so this website, simple and easy to get up. This website has many pages to it on different services and stuff like that. So I want to show you kind of why we do that. How every page on every site that we put up is a lead generator. Okay, every page. So like most people would think that you would search for, window tinting. That's what the main search and it might be, and we show up for that. But let's look at like another search. I'm actually doing this live, so I've not looked this up in a long time. I'm just doing Plasti Dip Eugene. Plasti dipping is like a way that you can use this stuff on your vehicles. So if you notice right here, this website has this page on it about Plasti dipping. Okay, well, this is our website. I was just showing you the home page, and as you notice, the home page is not what's showing up here. Okay, it's an internal page. So this is why just a website in and of itself, or a landing page, so many people that think you're going to do lead gen is just going to have this landing page, they're flawed. Because if I was having someone search for Plasti Dip Eugene, it's not coming to my homepage. It's coming to this internal page we made specifically about that. So owning a website is great, or owning a site is fine, but having a site with only one entry point is a mistake. So if you look back, think of your site as, think of this road right here as the search engines, and think of every time you add a page to your site, you had another entry point to your business, right? And so I just kind of use some clip art businesses. But so every page that I've added to this local site, this window tint business, is giving me another chance to get people onto that site, okay? So it's very important, and it's something that I see so many people, including local business owners, they really are flawed. Let me show you an example. Let's just go back to that previous search. All right, one second. So we're going to do that same search, and let's look at the next competitor. All right, so they really like keeping you on Google these days. Let me get to his site. So he's right there, but what do we know here? There's 3 pages here, okay? There's not a lot to this site. It's very, very low amount of work has been put onto this site. So they're never going to have all those different roads that our website has into it. Why? They didn't spend the time and effort. And this is how most businesses approach the web, is they do not spend the time and effort because it takes time and effort. So let's do another quick search here. Window tint removal Eugene. All right, so there's our main site. That came up, okay, because we had some talk about that on the main page. And then there's our window tint removal page, okay? So interesting that both of them actually showed up. So now we're taking out right here, we're taking out 2 pieces of real estate with 2 pages on our site. So such an important thing that you guys understand, that it's not just about having a site up or a landing page like so many people I think will end up shortcutting and try to do. It's important to have as many pages on that site as possible and become the authority in the marketplace. Let's move on to directories, okay? So with this exact example here, one second here, this right here is a directory, okay? Google Maps is a directory. It's one of many. It's one of the most important of all, but there's also directories, tons and tons and tons of different directories that are out there, and I'll show you some examples. And these could also be classified as not just directories, but these could also be classified as social properties. Obviously, Facebook's a social property, but as you go, you'll see, like, let's go to the next page. These directories aren't necessarily like yellow pages. So there's a directory right there, a directory listing. Okay, these pages. Better Business Bureau is a directory. Angie's List would be a directory. Okay, Yahoo is a directory. Dex is a directory. Manta is a directory. Hopefully, you're getting the concept here. We want to be in as many directories as possible, not because someone's going to scroll to page 2 and go on yellow pages and find us. That's not why we want to be on directories. I'm going to teach you in later videos, probably in week 2, why directories actually fuel this directory. Why this position right here that we have is so important for our business, and how those other directories, the more place your business has been cited around the web, the more place you've got these citations of your name, address, and phone number, it's going to fuel this. Okay, so it's a big factor of why I would show up above someone else, or this business would show up above other businesses, because there's clearly other businesses in the marketplace. Other things come into other things factor in as well, but this is a major factor for these. So one of the parts of our process for lead generation is we want to be in as many directories as possible. Secondly, you got to also think as these directories, these are all inroads to our business, just like the pages on our site. So you kind of see in a concept here. Lead generation, where people mistake, is they don't understand it's domination by being anywhere and everywhere. Even if, let's just say on the web, we had this one little directory we put up, and it was just it was in a place maybe it only got one visitor per month. Okay, well, if I put my business on 100 directories that only got one visitor per month, that's a potential of 100 leads. Where most of the businesses in the same industries, they're not willing to put the time and effort into doing that. So if you're in all these locations with the name of your business, a link to your website, the address, the phone number, and even if those things get very little traffic, if no traffic at all, everyone wants to just focus on Google. Now, obviously, Google is the big bad 900-pound gorilla, but don't forget about some of these other directories that are out there, because even if just one person uses it per month, that's an extra lead that you just edged over your competition that they probably didn't go put themselves there. So that's an important thing, and it's an important reason why we talk about directories in the training. It's got multiple approaches to it, but people generally shortcut things like this because it's work. Okay, and this is where we're going to outwork them. So we're going to outwork them on our website by being and having more content and more pages to our site. So we're the authority in the market. We're going to outwork and we're going to outplace them in directories. So we have more directories that can bring in potential clients and phone calls, as well as it will help our local Google listings. Okay, and then social profiles, same concept as directories, guys. Let's pull this up again. If we're on the page 1, what do you notice? You notice that we have the social profile. Our Facebook page is taking out a piece of property here. Now look at this. If you look at this shop right here, they don't even have their main website on page 1 because we're like hogging all the space, right? We've mucked up page 1 with obviously we can't hog up, but we have our website, and then there's another one of our websites right there. So we have 2 websites taking up some of the real estate. Then we got to go ahead and we're going to have our social profile taking up some of the real estate. Okay. And then we go ahead and we have another social profile, which is YouTube. And we're going to show you how to do that as well. And we have like a billboard almost on page 1. And this is a really cool strategy I'm going to teach you guys. But I want to, if I want to look at it, I'm number 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 5 of the spots on page 1. That's a darn near 50%. And last but not least, paid traffic. I'm not currently in charge of this business. I sold this business back. I just kind of monitor the online presence. So we're not running any We're not running any paid traffic at this point, but if I wanted to have this position up here, I would be running some paid traffic, which will also bring in leads, of course, okay? So kind of to recap, guys, if you notice, if you want to generate leads, you not only have a website or sites, that are going to be taking up multiple pages, multiple positions. That's going to bring in, it's going to have all these places where people can run into your business rather than just having one location or 1 or 2 page website or a 5-page website. We want to go bigger and stronger than everyone else. We're going to be in all the directories, okay? So we can help push that front page Google listing, but as well as get all those phone calls and leads from all those the traffic that those directories get. They all have their own little bit of traffic. We're going to do all the social profiles we can, because those social profiles in Google's eyes really validate your business, number one. But number two, they actually bring in leads and they take up real estate on page 1, like you just saw. And then last but not least, this is not a big part of our strategy because we don't like spending any money on paid traffic really, but we have some strategies and techniques we're going to teach you how to get paid traffic kind of for free. So it's not really paid traffic. You're able to use some strategies that we've kind of discovered over times, so you can take up that top spot on not only Google, but you can do them on Bing and Yahoo as well, and as well as some of the social networks. But mainly, guys, lead generation is going to hinge around these techniques and strategies, okay? Nothing more. You don't have to get overly complex about it. I think people really, they think it's harder than it is, but it's how you approach these things. It's how you get these things up to the top spot, or up to this organic top spot, or having multiple sites on page 1 for the same niche, or how did you get this Facebook page to this position? What was the strategy? Or how did you get this YouTube video to page 1? So it's about the approach, but the strategy is complete domination. I want to completely dominate a space with as many web properties as possible. So then I have the opportunity, if a car is driving down, aka a searcher, they have multiple ways they can pull into my business, multiple entry points that they can pull into my business, whether it's directories, social profiles, paid traffic, my website or websites, or my internal pages across my websites. Guys, this is how it's done. It's just complete domination. And the cool thing about this, guys, most business owners don't have a stinking clue about this stuff. So we're so far ahead of the game with being able to put these things into place. And for you to be able to understand how to do them very easily and very rapidly. This is what's going to get that phone ringing for you. And this is what's going to allow you to not only provide this as a service to businesses, this is going to provide your ability to consult for businesses. This is going to provide your ability to start your own businesses locally or buy your own businesses like I have. Guys, these strategies of knowing this stuff, 99% of business owners don't understand this stuff at the level you're going to understand, and they're not going to know how to do it. So on the next videos, we're going to get into prospecting and monetization to round out the rest of the foundation. And then in week 1, we're going to dive right in and we're going to start working on this part of the process, getting our sites up, getting our niches, getting kind of this thing injected. I'm really excited to teach this stuff to you guys. I know this stuff works. Last month alone, we did close to 40,000 phone calls generated only by our students. So we know that this process that we're going to teach you is flat out going to work. It's just a matter of putting in the time and the effort and understanding it all. So I'm trying to give you this strong foundation so that this makes sense to you guys on why you're doing what you're doing, not just aimlessly doing stuff. So that's the lead generation strategy that we're going to do. We're going to teach you all the secrets behind it as we go. So just hang on for the ride. We'll see you on the next video. What's going on, guys? Dan Klein here. In this video, I'm going to cover something that probably is going to be the most important thing you learn in job killing. I'm not going to cover it in full detail. I'm going to give you the foundational overview. And this is a video I want you to be able to reference back to. As before I was making this video, I looked back and I was deciding on how I wanted to teach it. In Job Killing 1.0, the first version, I taught this a certain way, and I was looking back on my notes on it, and I want to do it the same way. But I want to have I'm gonna throw in some shots in there, because after I've been doing this for the length of time I have with training all different types of people, all different walks of life, I understand the pitfalls. And that's the whole reason for continuing to make this training better, and continuing to find innovative ways to lead you guys so that you guys can take the skill set in which we taught you and turn it into money. And I know that's why you're here. Now, the funny thing about prospecting is super uncomfortable. It's kind of like, like working out. It's one of those things that if you don't do it daily, you're not going to get in shape. And so for our business and for our pocketbooks, if you don't begin prospecting daily and getting into that habit, your pocketbook will show that. Okay. And so I know for many of you guys got into this program because you want to learn lead generation. And here's the funny thing. There's so many people that have went through this program that learn lead generation. And I'm going to prove it to you. Well, I'm proving it to you right on this screen here, that have learned lead generation, but they never took the time or got the discipline to prospect correctly. Okay, so this is why I want to really make sure we hone in on this skill set even more in Job Killing 2.0 than ever, because I feel like if you don't know how to prospect, you could be the greatest lead generator in the world and be broke. Okay, what are you looking at here? Right here, I want to show you in the last 30 days what the job killers collectively, and this is just phone calls, by the way, this is not actual lead submission forms. Collectively, all the students generated over 41,000 phone calls in the last month. Okay, let's get an idea of what that is per day. That's 1,800 calls a day. And in the last week, see if this updates here. In the last week, we'll give it a second. Of course. 16,000 phone calls. I want that to sink in for you a second. 16,000 phone calls in the last week came through job killers. Okay? There's a lot of people. You're going to learn lead generation. You are going to learn how to get the phone to ring. But if you don't know how to get customers to pay you, if you don't know how to prospect and get yourself out there, you won't make money. Prospecting models. I want to talk about control, I want to talk about speed, and I want to talk about comfort. Okay? If you are broke or if you are very hard up for money and money is very tight, then you need speed. And generally when you need speed, it will probably make you lack comfort because you have to do things that you otherwise probably wouldn't have wanted to do. Okay? Now, again, that's a choice. Many of you will choose no matter what, even if you are as broke as possible and you have a tough time financially, you won't get outside of your comfort zone so you can go faster. You will stay uncomfortable in your pocketbook so you don't have to be uncomfortable in this sense of prospecting and kind of doing things maybe in a different sequence that I might have trained them if you were flush with cash. Okay? And then control, obviously we know what control is, but control is the amount of control you're going to have on a situation. So if I was to pick up the phone and call you right now, I have direct control of get on the phone with you. You might not answer, but it's me that's in control. If I sent you a direct mail piece, and we'll just start going through this. If I sent you a direct mail piece, I'm not going to have as much control. So what I tried to do was create the prospecting ideas for you guys, and we're going to get in crazy depth on this stuff throughout the training in the coming weeks and whatnot. But I wanted to kind of give you an idea so you could start seeing control, speed, and comfort. So a direct phone call to a business is going to be the most uncomfortable thing. So it's going to rank a 1 out of 10. So it's the thing that people lack or do not want to do the most. But from a speed standpoint, you could do that today. You could do that after you got done with this phone or after you got done with this video, okay? You could do that immediately. And it's amazing how many people will allow themselves to go through life completely broke and they'll stay away from this direct phone call because it's so uncomfortable for them. They're so scared. But it has 100% control of your income and it's 100% speed proof, meaning you can go as fast as you want. You could do 100 of those today. Direct or mass email. Comfort, 10. I hit a send button. It's not that hard to do. Very comfortable. I can't rejection. They just might delete my email or mark it as spam. Speed, for direct mail, it could be incredibly slow. And for the response time, it can be incredibly slow. And for control, you have very little control if it gets round filed from a direct mail piece or if the email gets deleted. So if you're broke or if money's tight or you want to go fast, direct or mass email isn't going to be your best solution, but it is a solution, okay? And I'd rather you be doing something than nothing. Action creates more action. Direct custom video email, I actually really enjoy these things. I think it does a couple different things. It allows you to get your personality out. I'm going to teach you guys an entire training on this. It's an awesome training, by the way. It's made people thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars a month doing direct custom video emailing. We use a program called Screencast-O-Matic. I believe it is free. You can pay the pro version. It's $12, so nothing that's going to cost you guys a bunch of money. Comfort, it's a 5. It's not going to be a 10 because you have to actually do what I'm doing right now and speak. For many of you guys, you're very fearful. What am I going to say? Well, I can tell you this. You have to practice, just like I've practiced over the years of getting on camera or getting on video camera. My face isn't even showing here, or screen camera. You have to practice. You have to do it over and over and over again. The bottom line is it's not as uncomfortable as getting hung up on a phone call, but it's a little bit uncomfortable because you got to get on there and you might fumble and mumble and screw up a little bit. But the bottom line is the more times you do it, the better it's going to be. Speed, I marked it in the middle. Okay, it's going to move someone faster from a speed of your income. It's going to move someone faster because it's going to be kind of different, like a pattern interrupt, something that they have not seen before. So that's going to be interesting to them. So it will help with speed. And control, you're going to have a little bit more control on it because it's not just text on a page or text on a direct mail piece. It's actually you on video explaining something to them, and you have you're able to put your personality into it. Direct Facebook. So this would be like a Facebook private message. Comfort 8. You get to sit behind a computer. If they just tell you to screw off, then then that's what it is. This would be like if you're prospecting a business. Maybe you found the business owner on Facebook and you wanted to send them a message about doing some stuff. Control, not as much control, but maybe a little bit more than others. And speed, also not great because they might not log on to Facebook for a long time. So you might send them a message and they might not get on for a while, or they might not respond to you for a while. Still, you're not going to put yourself in the most controlling aspect or the fastest aspect to get into the money zone when you do get into prospecting, but that gives you an idea of the gauge. Direct mail, we talked about this already. The comfort is obviously very high. The uncomfortableness of direct mail is it costs money. The speed is slow and the control is very low. A walk-in, comfort is going to be down there, okay? But a walk-in, guess what? You're going to get an answer of yes or no today. Again, guys, I'm trying to teach you this stuff not to scare you off, but to make you understand is every prospecting mechanism that you use is going to have different end results, okay? So am I saying that walking in and cold calling or calling up a business is what I want you doing? No, absolutely not. I want you to understand if you're trying to manipulate the end result of your pocketbook and your business, I want you to understand that prospecting is not created equal. Not everything is the same. Sending an email is different than picking up the phone and calling, or walking in is different than shooting over a private Facebook message. Big differences in outcome. So very important that you pay attention and that you check yourself. If you start to say, man, things are really tight, money's tight, ba 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 ba. This is something to check yourself on. Hire a sales rep. Comfort, pretty high. The only thing that's uncomfortable about this comfort might be low because you're going to be spending a lot of money. Okay, it's comfortable once they're out, but as far as for you right now, it's not something that I would necessarily do. I'd rather see you not spend a bunch of money, and I'd rather see you guys get into your prospecting instead of just getting rid of it altogether. I think it's a growth for many people. I think many people need to go through this to really understand their business. But I think at some point, having a hired sales rep, if that's not your thing, is absolutely 100% awesome. I also think that there's 40 to 50% of the people in job killing would love to partner up on deals if sales is not your thing, and they'll do prospecting sales for you if you bring the leads to the table. Warm contact by phone. Okay, so this gives you another prospecting. This would be like people that you know that maybe own businesses or that you can ask some questions to. that you could reach out to that have, maybe you did business with them in the past. Maybe they're a cousin, an aunt, uncle that have a business. So kind of gives you an idea as it pertains to that. Okay, 1 second. Let's go on to the next one. Phone whisper to landing page. So comfort is going to be pretty high. Okay. So meaning it's going to be very comfortable to do something like this. So this would be when the phone rings, it says, hey, you have a free referral from Dan Klein. Visit danjklein.com for more information. And the problem is the control is horrible. You don't know if they're going to get off the phone and go and type in your information and do that. So make sure that you do that correctly. I want to back up real quick. I think I put higher sales reps at a 2. 2 for comfort. And I want to think about that a little bit because it's not uncomfortable to do this. I think it's just the money is why I marked it there and maybe some of just the unknownness of doing it. So anyway, just moving ahead. Phone whisper with a phone call follow-up. Probably my favorite, one of my favorite options for you guys is that when you deliver off a lead, you're following up with a phone call. I think it's a little bit uncomfortable, not horribly, because you have sent them some results in advance. I think the speed is there unless you can't get a hold of the person, and I think the control is very high. Rank and advertise. So this would be like if you wanted to rank for best SEO company in Philadelphia. Control, speed, it's going to be very, very low. Okay. Comfort is going to be obviously the highest because you don't have to talk to anyone. It's just coming right through yours. I think it's a good model, but it's a long-term play. So if you're going to do it, make sure you're in for the long haul. All right. To recap on prospecting, I'm going to teach you guys really good prospecting. I feel like that's the one thing in job killing. Everyone thinks that job killing is some SEO course. It is not. Brad and I've said that from day one. Are you going to learn elements of SEO and some really high-end stuff? For sure. But the difference is how many great SEO guys and gals are out there that don't make any money? Tons. The magic is learning how to tie it all together. The magic is knowing how to get leads coming in, how to do the SEO and how to get stuff working online, but then tying it together so you can make a lot of money. Okay? All those SEOs that want to geek out and they want to learn about the tools and all that stuff, man. None of that stuff has ever made me any money. What makes me money is I'm able to take those skill sets and be a human and not just a guy or a computer dork that sits behind the computer and knows all the little ins and outs. And I'm able to prospect businesses with some of the stuff I'm going to teach you in job killing, and I'm able to turn that into money, which is the only reason I'm here. And the only reason I'm here to train you is to help you turn the skill sets that we train you in job killing into money. Okay? So the key is, though, wherever you're at on your scale as far as money goes, if you're on a low end and things are really, really tight and you got to go fast, get uncomfortable. Okay? You got to be able to control the speed of your money. It's the bottom line. And if you're going to sit back and wait for everything to come to you, I'm telling you that this could take a while. But if you're willing to work fast and move outside of probably your comfort zone, not necessarily, but probably outside your comfort zone and prospect like hell, you can control the speed of your money. Money loves speed, okay? And money loves prospecting. Get out there and prospect as you learn this skill set. Do not sit back on your hands and wait for your first project to turn into money. There's projects that I have to this day, I still have not landed a client on. Imagine if that was the very first project I ever took on. Is it getting leads? Yeah, it's getting leads. I can't find a good business owner to work with yet, okay? But you got to prospect. You got to get in front of people. You got to let people know what you do. Okay, go back through this video a couple more times. If you ever want to check yourself, if a method isn't working for you, see where it falls in the scale that I set. Is the scale perfect? No. I tried to give you some basic guidelines how to check yourself when you're doing your prospecting. Again, In the future videos, we're going to get into like right over the shoulder prospecting techniques, all that stuff we're going to get into in deep. But this is the foundation stuff. This is the 10,000 degree view on how we do what we do and why we do it and how you should check yourself as you're doing it. We'll see you on the next video. What's going on, guys? Dan Klein here. All right, man, this is it. This is the video. This is the video that really only matters. Not really, but seriously, like, all the things I've taught you up to this point, all the feedback and the training that we've given, before we get started into the actual tactical stuff, like we're going to start in week 1, none of it matters. You could have all these things, all these skills. You could know your due diligence, and you could do your niching, and you could do your lead gen and be generating tons of leads, and then do prospecting and get in front of the client. And then if you don't know how to monetize that and turn it into money, it ain't worth anything. It's not a business. Right? I think we'll all agree. So one of the skill sets that I think I was gifted with in life was figuring out how to turn an idea or a product or something into money. I'm not saying this to be like arrogant, like everyone's got their own gifts. I know I'm a horrible writer and I'm not good at certain things. One of my gifts has always been monetization, how to take something and turn it into $1. Okay? And that's what I want to train you guys to do. I think one of the biggest things that I've learned, not only from working with students all over the world, but just in business in general, is you can't think linear. You can't think, I do lead generation, so I get paid per lead, or I do SEO, so I get paid a flat fee per month. Whatever it is, the more creative you get in how you turn your new skill set that we're going to train you into money, the more money, the more deals, the more fun you're going to have, okay? I remember back in the car business when I was in the automobile industry and the motorhome industry, we made the most creative deals that would have never happened because we were willing to think outside the box. We took in a racehorse one time. We took in a parrot, okay? We took in a microwave in trade, dozens and dozens of guns. The bottom line was we were willing to think outside of just the car costs X, you pay Y, and if you don't, we have no deal. We thought, we structured, we came up, we were creative. In this video, I want to help you get the creative juices flowing. There is no wrong or right way to monetize a deal. There are better ways than others to monetize a deal, but at the end of the day, if you don't monetize it, you don't get paid. If you don't monetize the skill set that Brad and I are going to teach you in job killing, you don't get paid. So I really want you guys to think through that stuff, and I really want you to really think through these monetization strategies, and I want to teach you why some are better than others, but why some are so much easier than others to sell, okay? And then I want to teach you an escalation process of how you're going to move people from the ones that are maybe really easy to sell but a little bit not as fun to manage. I'm going to teach you an escalation process that I've been using for the last 7 years of how you're going to get these people into guaranteed repeatable income if you can. So let's move forward. Right off the bat, if we're in the business of generating phone calls for businesses, a super easy to understand monetization model is pay-per-call. Let me tell you about the pros. Let me tell you about the cons. The pros are every time your phone rings, you're getting paid. So that's awesome. So in the last video, you saw 40,000 phone calls plus go through the job killing student database. Imagine if every one of those students was just getting $10 per call, job killers would have generated, I don't know what the number is, but I think it's somewhere around 40,000? No, 400,000, or is it 4 million? Either way, it's a lot more money than they probably generated last month because the pay-per-call model isn't as favored by business owners. They get really nervous and they start thinking worst-case scenarios. Well, what if my phone rings and it's a marketer? Or what if my phone rings and I don't sell anything? They don't have business owners, specifically local business owners, don't really have a real good grasp on ROI, return on investment. They look at the 1 call or the 2 calls that didn't go through instead of the 8 calls that did go through that they made, several hundreds of dollars on. They have a problem and they have a struggle because they think in minutia, and I want to help you not think like that. Okay? They have this mentality that They're always looking for the problem instead of they're not optimistic. Pessimistic versus optimistic. So pay per call, the awesome side of it is the fact that, every call that you generate, whether it closes or not, you're getting paid. The downside is business owners don't really trust it because of all the reasons I just ran through. Pay per lead is really the same thing, but this would be more done through just a web form. As if a web form and it wasn't a call, maybe it's like a credit app of some sort or whatever it might be, but it's like a lead that would actually come into their email inbox. Maybe a car that they're trying to get a quote on. Pay per lead, they're a little bit more comfortable with this for whatever reason. I'm not really sure why, but same principles apply. What if the lead doesn't buy? They have a problem looking past ROI and focusing on the ones that didn't buy instead of all the ones that did buy. So these are still great models to bring in front of people and options that you can offer up in the negotiation stage of putting a deal together, but just giving you the pros and cons of it and what they do and don't like about those two. Now, a commissionable deal is by far and above the easiest thing to sell. And a commissionable deal is really simple. Mr. or Mrs. Business Owner, when I bring you a customer, that's the only time I get paid. When you guys get paid, you split out 20% of the commission or 25% of the commission or whatever the number is, and that's the only way I get paid. So in reality, Mr. or Mrs. Business Owner, you have zero risk. We call the commission model risk reversal. There's absolutely no risk for them. So oftentimes, we train you right off the bat to start this way because you'll get the least amount of friction, especially if you're not a salesperson. This is an easy, no-brainer way for a business owner to say yes to you because they really aren't coming out of pocket and handing you a bunch of money right there on the spot. That's going to be the toughest thing to sell right up front because they still maybe don't know you or trust you, okay? But a commissionable deal, the cons of a commissionable deal is there's a lot of tracking that's involved, okay? I think one of the things that I get asked the most in job killing is, Dan, how do you track commissionable deals? How do you know if they're not screwing you? Well, obviously every phone call is recorded, so you can listen to every call, but who wants to listen through 40,000 phone calls at the end of every month? No one. So for me, anytime I set up a commissionable deal, if that's the way I have to start to build the trust and desire, I don't really even care if they are screwing me, okay? That's not my end goal. I'm never going to stay on a commissionable deal for very long. The only reason I'm starting a commissionable deal is because I can't get them to pull the trigger on one of these other models that I'm teaching you. So I have to revert back to a risk reversal type of play, which is a commission-based structure, okay? But make no mistake, there is not one deal I'm on today that I do commission-based deals long-term. Every one of them I escalate to one of the models I'm going to train you. Okay? So a commissionable deal is only there to land the client up front, but it is not there to keep the client hooked into it for long term. In my opinion, it's a massive waste of both the business owner's time and your time. My suggestion is if you land a commissionable deal and that's where you have to start out, which is totally fine, that within 60 days, you set the guidelines up front that in 60 days, you're going to have a conversation with them and you'd like to move to more of a flat fee or one of the other models of monetization that I'm going to train you on. Okay? It is to use to escalate them from not trusting you to, oh, I've worked with this guy for 2 months or this gal for 2 months and I know that they can bring the heat. And so on average, I've been spending, $1,000 a month with them in commissionable money. And so let's just move to a flat fee and then I get to ride the upside. Now, again, you can make great guarantees when you move them to a flat fee. Like if they're ever, don't feel like they got the better end of the stick, that you can move some of the flat fee off the next month or whatever. But the bottom line is, in order to scale your business, you do not want to be a commission-based lead generator. You want to move them to flat fee or one of the other services. My favorite is flat fee because I know if I have 25 clients next month that are guaranteed at $1,000 a month, that's $25,000 before the month even starts. It makes me feel and sleep really, really well. And it will do the same for you, I promise. Obviously, you heard what I liked. It's the flat fee, and that's the next model. Let me tell you about why the flat fee is such a hard thing to sell. Every form of marketing advertising, they do the flat fee. Radio, flat fee. Newspaper, flat fee. Television, flat fee. Yellow Book, flat fee. Pretty much everyone out there that's competing for this business owner's business is coming to them with this flat fee. Why? Well, because there's hard costs associated with building these channels of distribution, whether it's television, radio, you name it. Every one of them's got there's costs associated with it. So if a salesman's going to go out and sell something, they want to know that they have guaranteed income, whether or not the product works or not. So business owners are very gun shy of flat fee because it puts 100% of the risk on them. So understand when you're initially pitching flat fee, when you're just in your infancy stages, it's going to be hard if they don't trust you and they don't desire your product or service very much. So even if you've sent them a ton of leads and all that good stuff, flat fee is by far the hardest thing to sell, but by far the best thing to sell. Okay? So that's why I tell you, I just told you that I plan on moving everyone to a flat fee, because then all the risk is now, it's no longer on my shoulders. It's 100% on theirs, and I have a guaranteed money coming in each month. And that's why you see every major form of advertising and marketing do the same thing. Just understand you might not sell it up front because you are an unproven commodity. Television, radio, newspaper, these are proven commodities. Okay? It's easier for them to sell at a flat fee than you or I. So oftentimes we have to escalate the business owner, build trust and desire over time before we can move them to this flat fee. But make no mistake, you should move all of your customers to a flat fee at some point. Hybrid. A hybrid's really simple. A hybrid is where maybe they don't want to pay your $1,000 a month, but maybe you can get them to do it for $500 a month plus a little commission, or plus $1 per call, or plus whatever. Okay? It's just simply adding a couple of the monetization strategies together to come up with one singular strategy. It's a good strategy if you can't get the number that you're trying to get for at the flat fee. So it's a good way to drop sell so you continue to have guaranteed income, but maybe at a lower dollar amount that's more comfortable to the business owner with some production. So it's a shared risk type of a model. Arbitrage by far and above is the number one thing that people forget about inside of job killing. And if I could give you any advice, is to don't forget arbitrage model. Don't forget that this, if all else fails, if you suck at sales, if you don't want to talk to business owners, that the arbitrage technique is a fantastic technique. And in fact, I've done it several times over and over and over again, and it's always been successful. So what is the arbitrage technique? To put it really simply, all you're doing is you're going out and finding the labor or the workers at a certain fee. So let's just use house cleaning for the sake of this example. If I went out and found 3 or 4 house cleaners that were willing to clean homes for $10 an hour or $12 an hour, and I started getting house cleaning leads generated, and I couldn't find a house cleaning company to take those leads, they were all being pills or they're all being annoying and they wouldn't work with me for whatever reason, okay? And I tried, instead of just sitting on my hands and doing nothing, I would start forwarding those calls into myself, into my own cell phone, and I would start my own house cleaning company at that point. And I would find the workers, just like any small business owner does, and I would simply find them to work for me for X, and I would sell it for Y, okay? And I would keep the difference. Now, many people that have went through job killing, they find all these holes in the arbitrage model. Well, how are they going to pay me? Or what if they do a bad job? Well, welcome to being a business owner. I've owned local businesses, and the bottom line is this. When you become a business owner, you have to learn how to problem solve and deal with issues and problems that come up. When I ran my window tint business, sometimes we would wreck a window or we would screw up their car, okay? And these are the things that happen when you own a business. So the arbitrage model does not come without any risk, but it's really, guys, it's what every small business owner deals with on a day-to-day basis. So if you're arbitraging deals, don't freak yourself out. But listen to me here and when I say, if you have not found a customer for whatever niche or business you're in, you best run the arbitrage model. Take the phone calls that are coming into your phone, take the leads that you're generating, and make the spread. Guys, a house cleaner could make $3,000 to $5,000 a month that owns a house cleaning business and upwards for a small little teeny operation with a couple house cleaners. Guys, for some of you guys, that's enough money to quit your job. So no matter what industry, no matter what niche you're in, if you're generating leads and all the other monetization strategies have not worked out and you have not been able to land a business owner, you're going to revert to the arbitrage model if you want, and you're going to create almost a business of your own, and you're going to be a small business owner with all the leads. All a business needs is sales and leads. That's it. Sales and leads. So if you're generating the leads and you can't find a business to work with to take a sliver of that action, start making the sales yourself and find the labor to go out and produce the job. I don't care what it is. There's always someone out there that will do it. And as long as you can sell it at a higher dollar amount, you can keep the spread. That's all I got for the monetization strategies, guys. I'm going to get obviously more in depth. All the files and contracts for every one of these strategies is going to be inside the Job Killing 2.0 as well as inside the Facebook group for download. So go ahead and download them, and all of them have been drawn up. You can just download them and use them with your clients. The great thing about our job though, and what we do in our skill set, is that we're in full control. So if a business owner ever didn't pay you, you could simply just turn off their phone. And to be honest with you, I don't even use contracts anymore. I have them there for you guys if you want to use them. But for me, I know I'm in full control when I control the phone line. And we're going to teach you all that in the coming weeks. I look forward to jumping into week 1 with you guys. And we're going to get very tactical. We're going to start building out your first lead gen property. So have an idea of what niche you want to jump into. Have an idea of the market you want to jump into. And let's get to work. We'll see you on the next video.